You are not the story. You are the storyteller or the observer of the story that's being told. You may think, well, if I'm just a storyteller, then I have no control over the story that's being told. But that's not the case. It's not true. You have all the power over the story that's being told. Now, while you may not have control over the events that take place in your story and how the plot unfolds, you have full control over the narrative of the story that's being told. So I know, philosophical, but what does it really mean? So, for example, here's the story. You work hard all week. You go to your job. You spend time on Saturday cutting the yard. You take the trash out. You're cleaning the house because you want a nice environment, a peaceful environment, clean environment to rest in, right? Sunday rolls around, and after church, kids leave toys and Legos all over the room. You got goldfish and snacks all crumbled on the couch, shoes everywhere, backpacks on the floor, just everything. Kitchen sink full of dishes. The lunch that you made for them is randomly tossed around the house. You frustrated and you thinking, I can't keep this house clean no matter what I do. Nobody cares about the effort that I put in cleaning this house. So what's the point? So that's the story you're telling yourself. That's the story I've told myself. You're unappreciated. You feel like maybe the work is in vain because you keep running the same race and it never changes. But here's an alternative narrative. So you work hard all week. You spend Saturday cleaning the house and cutting the yard and all that good stuff, right? You creating a home that feels welcoming for your family. So when Sunday roll around and after church, your kids laughing, they playing with their toys, you and wifey having a good time, everybody in the living room, and the kitchen is messy, but that's because everybody enjoyed a meal together after worship that God blessed you to be able to afford. The shoes and the backpacks, they just threw them down because they were so happy to be home, excited to tell you about the day, what they learned in Sunday school. So instead of focusing on the mess, you remind yourself that your hard work has created a space where you and your family are free to move, free to live, and fully enjoy your home. So now the story is, one, your work is valuable because it fosters a lively and a loving atmosphere for you and your family to enjoy. And two, the mess is temporary, but the memories that you build in will last forever. So this perspective, it don't mean that you should just be okay with an unorganized, chaotic, dirty house forever. Of course not, right? We have to create processes and implement plans to put things in order. It's important to work towards that. But until those systems are in place, shifting your narrative can help relieve some of that stress. It allows you to see the beauty in the moment and appreciate each situation with grace rather than frustration. All right. So let's take it to the good book. Colossians 3:23 and 24 reminds us, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. That shift in perspective reframes the mess not as failure, but as evidence of the blessings that God has placed in your life, your family, your home, your ability to create an environment where life and love flourishes. So it's not about settling for disorder. It's about faithfulness in stewarding what God has entrusted to you while striving for that growth. Instead of frustration, we can choose gratitude. And remember that even the smallest act of service can glorify God. This is the beauty of understanding that you are not the story. You are the storyteller. You may not be able to control every detail of what's happening in your life, but you have full control over how the story is being told. Seeing it this way empowers you to shift your perspective, to reframe the plot twists and challenges as opportunities for growth, for joy, for gratitude. When you embrace your role as the storyteller, you reclaim the narrative and find peace in the midst of the unfolding story that God is writing in your life. Sometimes we confuse ourselves with the story that's being told. And based on that story, we define our identity. This shift in narrative doesn't change the events, but changes how you perceive them and ultimately how you feel about them. It's a lot. I know. I get it. We all going through it. But remember, as God is writing that story and you're participating in it, it does not define you and it is not your identity. Even for the moment, our identity is in Christ and the reward that he has for us as we continue to glorify him. Be encouraged.